Hi everyone, welcome back to Education Friday. Today I have lovely Rachel being my model. We are going to begin the new mini-series for the next 4 parts. This series, we are going to talk about the differences or similarities between mat exercises and Pilates reformers exercises. It is always good to know some subtleties, some slight differences between each two apparatus. So you understand that the focus of each apparatus may be different, even though the exercises may look similar. Having said that, it is good to be able to access both equipments, i.e. mat and reformer, because they both complement each other. It's not one versus the other, or it doesn't mean that one is better than the other. So sometimes you work on the mat, you might get strengthened in one part of the muscles, and whereas you work on reformer, you get to strengthen the opposing muscles. Today, we are going to focus on a simple exercise which is called lift and lower on reformer, where you have your feet in the straps and you start with your legs diagonal down. So here Rachel is going to demo. Inhale, she lifts the legs up, and then exhale, she engages the core and lower the legs down. Okay, she continues to do this exercise. Okay, while you're lifting and lower the legs, yes, of course, whether you're doing on the mat or on reformer, you want to try to focusing on the pelvis stability and using the core to stabilize the pelvis. Now here, in reformer, as you lift the legs up, the focusing is more on the posterior chain of your hips, of your legs. As you lift the legs up, you're focusing on lengthening your hamstrings. And as you lower your legs, you're strengthening your hip extensors, your hamstrings, and your butt. You allow the straps to lift the legs up, and you press against resistance as you lower the legs. So here there is minimum effort to lift the legs up against gravity because the straps is assisting you to lift the legs up. So the focus is on the eccentric contraction of your hip extensors, which is brilliant for those people who have tight hamstrings and you want to focus on lengthening your hamstrings and using the straps to help you. So the heavier the springs, the more assisting or assistive in terms of lifting the legs up. And here I have Rachel doing the mat version. Okay, she's going to start with your legs in a diagonal position with the legs straight. Inhale, she lifts the legs up. So here, if your hamstrings are tight, you can bend your knees slightly, and then exhale, you reach your leg back down. So here, it requires more effort to lift the legs against gravity. So the focusing is more on hip flexors to lift the legs up against gravity. And then as you exhale, you're focusing on the core to lower the legs towards the floor. Okay, so you can see here the focus is different. She's not focusing so much on lengthening back of the legs, but so much on using your hip flexors, shortening that hip flexors to lift the legs up against gravity. Very good. So here is an example of how you can do your exercise at home, but remember, the focus is different when you do it on reformer. So join us again next Friday for another exercise of this mini series, mat versus reformer. Bye.